Okay, be honest, how do I look? Do I look like somebody who would be invited to the White Lotus resort, or is this shirt just too busy? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a bit more stuff to happen in this episode, but it's okay, because with this being a tamer episode, it just makes it all the more obvious that next week's season finale is gonna be fucking bonkers. Oh shoot, has it been 7 seconds yet? I'm not sure if I can keep that F word in, or if I have to bleep it out. So buckle up, sit back, get your drink, and let's discuss episode 7 of The White Lotus. Episode 6 ended with Frank and Rick getting access into Srutala's house. She invites them right in, and that's where that episode ended, and this episode picks up right where that one left off. I kind of had a feeling that there's going to be a recognizable face attached to this guy that Rick might want to kill, and sure enough, this guy was Scott Glenn. He might not be somebody that everybody recognizes, but he is in a lot of stuff. He does a lot of TV roles, and he's a great actor, which is a great thing because you got to have some strong acting chops if you're going to do a scene with Walton Goggins, and these two have a really great scene together. At the very start of the scene, it was quite amusing to me because it was clear and obvious that these two, Frank and Rick, they didn't really plan out much. They didn't have answers to some of these key questions that Srutala was asking.
What have you directed, may I ask?
What haven't I directed? You know what I mean? Mostly action films. The Enforcer, The Executor.
You would think that if they really wanted to have Frank pretending that he's a famous Hollywood director, or a semi-famous Hollywood director, a director in general, he would have the names to some of these movies that he directed, and yet he was so clearly just spouting out names at random. I don't know if Srutala noticed how fishy it was, but she really should have if she's not a complete idiot.
You're lovely.
Your producer says you've been watching some of my films.
I'm sorry?
Which films did you watch?
So yeah, these two, they really didn't plan it out very much, but I guess it doesn't really matter because Rick just wants to get to business. And this scene, it was really effective, it was really powerful, and it was a little freaky, but I'm glad to see that I was correct. Rick did not kill this guy. He just didn't need to. This was a frail guy who was old. Yeah, he might have done bad things in the past, but that is the past, and killing him isn't gonna bring back his dad. It's not gonna take away any of that pain that Rick is holding on to, so it would have been a needlessly pointless death. So yeah, I am quite glad that Rick did not kill the man. Right? Now let's jump over to the Ratliff family, who are constantly keeping us all on our toes. You just never know what's gonna happen next with these people. Such as this moment with Piper in Loki's room at this monk temple as they spend the night together. I don't know about you guys, but there was a part of me that was wondering if something was gonna happen between these two as well. I was thinking before that it almost seemed like Loki was willing to hook up with the brother and the sister. I'm kind of glad that we didn't see more incest. I'm sure most people will agree that we've seen enough, but I was a little worried, I'm not gonna lie. But in this scene, Loki says that he wants to stay at this temple with Piper and just kind of leave society behind. I guess after finding out that he jerked off his brother, maybe he's feeling like, I can't go back there. I need a break. I need to hit the reset button as well. So is Loki gonna stay behind in Thailand with Piper? We'll just have to find out. Elsewhere, Tim, Victoria, and Saxon all go to Greg's party. Gary's party. He wants to be referred to as Gary while he's in hiding. And it seems like with Tim constantly being messed up out of his head, clearly on some kind of drugs at all times, basically for the last 4 episodes, Saxon has finally decided to confront his father and just see what the hell's going on with you, dude. And Saxon does kind of think it could have something to do with work, so he does mention, hey man, your job, your career, my career, they are all entirely tied together, and I have nothing going on in my life except for this career. So if there's a problem, please, you gotta let me know, because everything I have that matters to me, that's important to me, is tied to you. And Tim continues to deny and pretend that everything's alright, but you can tell Saxon doesn't really believe it. But this conversation now has put even more pressure on Tim, who already was thinking of killing his wife as well as himself. Now he's finding out that Saxon feels like he has nothing else going on. So if he goes down, not only is Victoria gonna feel useless, but now Saxon's apparently gonna feel useless. Is he gonna have to kill his whole family? And while we're at this party, we do get a really funny interaction between Chelsea, Chloe, and Saxon, as Chloe explains that Gary used to watch his parents have sex. Now he's developed kind of a fetish, and therefore he would like to apparently walk in and see Chloe and Saxon doing it. And of course, Saxon is not too interested in that at all. It's creepy, it's disgusting, it's very strange, and yet, yeah, there's something creepy about Greg as well. You just don't believe it. I don't believe that that's all he wants. I think that whole story could possibly be a lie. If it's true, then I guess it lines up with the White Lotus, but if it's not true, then he actually has darker intentions. But yeah, I thought this scene cracked me up, not only because of this super awkward request, but because of Chelsea's gold expressions. This woman, she just reacts with the just most perfect facial expressions. And I love how she seems to always be playing devil's advocate with Saxon. She really does not think too much of this guy. She thinks that he is just a hollow, shallow mess of a person who is going to end up much like these older guys that he is making fun of. And it's really been bothering Saxon to have somebody in his life that isn't just so impressed with him. He is used to getting everything he wants, and seeing this woman constantly turning him down, he just can't believe it. He can't accept it. He thinks that there's no way that she actually likes Rick for Rick. He thinks it's got to be money related. He's wrong. Chelsea is not like him, and not everybody is. You could almost feel sorry for Saxon, but I don't, because fuck him. And surprise, surprise, Belinda and Zion actually showed up to this party. I don't know about this. And it doesn't take Greg too long to approach Belinda and say, hey, let's go have a conversation inside the house. Of course, she is totally against this. She's like, oh, I gotta go get my son Zion. He really wants to be there. Greg's like, yo, I'm just gonna talk to you and I'll bring you right back out to this party. So he talks to her, and as we expected, she gets confronted about the fact that she knows who he is. And as I successfully predicted, which I'm just pretty thrilled about, he offered to pay for her spa by means of $100,000. He says that Tanya really wanted you to start this spa. She felt guilty that she didn't give you that money. So now is my chance to make it right with you. And maybe if I give you this money, you can make sure that my life doesn't get more complicated. I'm not at all surprised that Belinda feels totally on the fence about accepting this money. She is a woman of principles, of morals, but sometimes in life, those principles and morals, as we've seen in shows like Game of Thrones, well, they get you killed. They get you killed by the Lannisters, and this is going to get her killed by Greg. If she doesn't take this money, I don't like her odds, so I hope that she does take this money. Mike White, please tell me you didn't write Belinda to do something stupid, such as getting herself killed like Tanya did. I can't take it. I don't think anyone is going to like it, and sure, it's going to shock everybody, but just please, I hope Belinda makes it out of this season alive. Hopping over to Jacqueline, Kate, and Lori, well, these three girls, it's just becoming so much more obvious that they aren't really friends. These are three people who used to be friends, but they are not friends anymore, and you can see that gap that is growing between them. And after this extremely awkward interaction at dinner, Lori gets up and decides that she's gonna go to this boxing match, and she leaves the other two girls behind. Now, this boxing match is pretty critical because it keeps getting clipped to us throughout this episode, at least throughout the first half of this episode. We keep getting glimpses of this boxing fight. And I do believe that that is because that fight is supposed to represent some of the conflicts that are going on. We are watching battles taking place, just like boxing. Boxing is a battle between two people, and we are seeing multiple battles taking place in this series. And I think that's what it's supposed to represent. But since we're at this boxing match, Lori is not there by herself. She runs into the three Russian guys that I said were up to no good, and it turns out they possibly were up to no good. Because Gaitak and Mook are also there on their date. And by the way, quickly, I'm gonna jump, I feel unfocused, but I gotta talk about this really quick because it really irked me. Okay, all these Gaitak scenes, there was some kind of an issue with the Max app where there was double subtitles. It was totally pulling me out of the moment. I kept thinking it was something to do with my stuff, so I restarted my Apple TV. I closed the HBO app, nothing. And then I finally realized it is their problem. It's their software. Damn it, it really pulled me out of the Guy Talk scenes. Rant over. Now, back to the episode. Guy Talk sees these 3 Russian guys and he starts to put together that they were the ones responsible for the robbery that took place. I think Valentin helped get his friends past the gate by distracting Guy Talk with a conversation. And so clearly these guys, they're just not on the up and up, just as I thought. And I felt so nervous for Lori when she was hooking up with this guy because he started asking her for money. And I'm like, oh boy, is he gonna like rob her and kill her? It was a funny scene, especially when he's asking you, Zell, you got Zell? You get the PayPal? You got, the Cash App? I loved that. It was really funny, and I do like the way the scene ended. Lucky for Lori, this guy's girlfriend came home and she had to hide and skedaddle. She had to jump out the window like a teenager hiding from the dad of the person that he just boinked. So she's trying to get out this window. The girlfriend sees her, starts slapping at Lori. That scene was awesome. Lori got out of there alive, but are these Russian men done? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's my opinion that Guy Talk is probably going to have some kind of a big moment in this finale. He has been a constantly interesting character. He is that underdog person. You find out in this episode that he feels like he can't take a life. He doesn't want to hurt people. But I bet you these 3 Russian guys are going to do something bad, and Guy Talk is going to have to step up and do something heroic. Possibly something happening to Mook that leads him to doing this. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the shooting that we heard in that first episode of this season has something to do with these 3 Russian guys. That's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm predicting it. I don't think Tim is involved in that, although I do think Tim might attempt to kill the 3 of his family. I think that Piper and Lockie might be safe because they're at the temple, and maybe that's gonna buy them some safety. Maybe he's gonna feel like they have a chance, like they have something going for them, but he's gonna feel like his wife and Saxon, he just thinks that they don't have anything going for them because they have basically said so. So I do think he is going to possibly kill them. So I think we are in for a lot of death in this season finale. Although it really doesn't feel like we're going to wrap up all the threads that are being unwoven in one more episode. I'm a little bit nervous that I'm not going to feel full closure with some of these storylines. I do trust Mike White. He has delivered some very good stuff so far, but there is a lot of open plot threads, so I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't want you guys to be either, if not everything gets wrapped up with a nice bow. There could be some open-ended stuff going on, and we might actually get some of that closure in the following season, because yes, this is an anthology series, but Greg, for example, has been a constant storyline throughout all 3 seasons. So it's an anthology series that has an overarching story. So don't be surprised if there is some stuff that's going to have to wait until next season. But I did enjoy this episode. It was a little slower than I thought. I was expecting a bit more bang going on, but I guess all the bang is going to happen in the season finale. So that season finale is going to be bananas. So not the strongest episode, maybe one of my least favorite episodes of this season, although I was thrilled to see some of these things that I predicted being proven right in this episode, so maybe I should raise my rating. I do not feel right very often, and I really did need some kind of a victory. Life has been life, Anyway, what did you guys think of this video? If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to hear more things from me, reviews, descriptions, reactions, video game stuff too, then subscribe to this channel. Later.